Good evening and welcome to this meeting of the Derry School Board. We do apologize for being a little late, but we had a lot of business to attend to tonight in non-public, so it took a little more time. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So all of us are in attendance tonight, and we'll begin by the approval of minutes. Tonight, we have for approval a non-public session on January 18th, a non-public session on January 25th, a public session on January 25th, and a non-public session on February 1st. So I'll begin with the non-public session on January 18th. A first by Derek and a second by Jessica. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And next is the non-public session on January 25th. First by Derek, second by Jessica. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Then the minutes of the public session on January 25th. First by Derek, a second by Jessica. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. The non-public session on February 1st. First by Derek, second by Jessica. All in favor? Motion passes. Marianne, do we have a school presentation tonight?
No, we don't.
Okay. So we do not have a school presentation tonight, so our next agenda item is the 21st Century Learning Community Corporation grant presentation by Dr. Dancy.
I'd first like to introduce Mr. Joel Olbrich, the president or chairman of the 21st Century Learning Corporation. Learning Community Corporation.
Hello, how are you? So I got to thinking on my way over here tonight, this is 2022, and I probably have 30 years of continual attendance at a school board meeting. Is that pretty good? So we come here every year, we hope, except for last year, and I try to just inform everybody again of what the Derry 21st Century Learning Community Corporation is and where we got started, which goes back to 1991. And we were doing some fundraising for a building that would be high-tech, regional, and a wonderful asset for Derry, and didn't quite end up getting there. But we still ended up with about $250,000 of money that we now call our endowment. And because of a good stock market and some good investing, we're now up to $400,000. And what we like to do with that money is take the earnings every year and come back here and give it to teachers and classrooms and schools in the district for use of innovative technology projects. And that is sort of our mission as a separate corporation, to find some innovative projects that maybe isn't in the tech grant for the year, tech money for the year, but it is something we can fund out of our pockets. Teachers and classrooms and the schools can find out if it really works, and then bring it into the regular budget for everybody else. So we're sort of the risky party. We're the ones that bring in tech grants, and we certainly thank all the teachers and schools and district and Cliff and all the other people that keep us thinking about what we should fund and all the exciting projects that a school can offer to meet curriculum and standards and all that stuff. So 2021 wasn't too different a year, except everything went remote. And it was kind of a chance for the board to sit back and say, well, what does a school district really need in order to go remote that it doesn't already have? And so that is the grants that we funded for 2020 and 21. And Cliff is going to take that now and show you in a slideshow what we did.
All right. Thank you, Joel. As Joel said, 2020, 2021 was different. We went complete one-to-one with all of our students, and everybody had all kinds of software and things. So it became a challenge then to figure out what kind of new and innovative ways. And quite honestly, most of the teachers weren't thinking of being innovative. Last year they were thinking of surviving. So we were also wanting to figure out ways that we could help the teachers and the students survive. The first one, well, before we get into that, I do want to mention the people that served on the 2021 21st Century Learning Community Corporation. That was Joel right here, and our district attorney, Gordon Graham, Glenn Cabana, Greg Falkenham, Dot Wiley, the original tech director who used to sit in my seat, and John Moody, who used to sit in her seat. And then also we had board member Erica Cohen and Superintendent Marianne Connors-Krikorian, Assistant Superintendent Austin Garofalo, myself, and Patty Doyle as the secretary. So that was the 2021 board. We have a new board this year, and I'll put them on the slide next year. So the first grant that we did was to purchase T-Mobile hotspots. T-Mobile was running a really interesting campaign last year to make sure that every student had internet availability in their homes. So they offered a free hotspot with $20 a month service for that. So we invested into that. unlimited high-speed data, free hotspot, 12-month contract. At first, we did 15 devices and saw a need to get another 10. Overall, about 18 families were issued devices, and one device was moved over to the next charter school, and the cost was shared over there. Principals reported that the devices, when the program began, the demand kind of went down. At first, we thought we had a big demand, and so that's kind of why we started with 15 and moved to 10. After that, because we could have easily gone with 50 right away and only used 18 of them. So I like starting small. The teachers were also very thankful that the students had access to the internet at home. A neat thing happened halfway through for us. We found out that E-rate would come in and pay for the whole thing. So we were able to give that money back to the 21st Century Council, and they're talking now about how we can continue using it. So the whole thing, I think, was a success. We filled a gap that was necessary. The 21st Century Council came in and kind of like knights in shining armor were able to rescue some of our kids from being able, that didn't have internet access. And so that was the first part of our grants, and I'm going to turn it over now to my colleague, Dr. Sarah Taylor, for the other part of the grant.
Hello. So the second part of the 21st Century Grant, we were so excited to be able to bring on Seesaw for Schools. So what Seesaw for Schools is a online digital platform where students can upload work, or they can actually apply what they're learning according to standards using multimodal digital resources. Like, they can record themselves, they could take pictures, they could record videos. It's limitless, really, what they could do with this platform. And teachers can see all of these phases of students learning, and they can also track data for student engagement and provide students with authentic feedback. And then it also opens up another portal for family communication, where there can be some back and forth between the students or the teachers and the families, and also families can log in and track their students' progress. What we did for this particular grant, we implemented it for grades K through 2 because we knew that students in our younger grades trying to show their learning and that evidence of learning in a remote environment was particularly challenging. So that's where we first started the implementation, and that's where it continues to grow. And we're still getting teachers trained in the professional development, trying to ramp up their usage for this, because as you could imagine, the amount of resources that were kind of put on teachers was a little overwhelming. So they were like, whoa, so we're trying to build them up even more. But we purchased 1,000 student licenses, and our contract with them for this grant was from January 1st, 21 till December 31st, 21. And we ended up rolling it into our technology software budget because we feel like this application is so worthwhile for students of K through 2 age level. So our overall engagement was, we had an average of 112 active students in each school. There were 14,165 posts added. There were 3,349 comments made on student works, 1,770 likes, and then 179 visits by families. So that was all we had for Seesaw, but we really appreciate the 21st Century Grant Committee for allowing that to be an option for our students and our teachers, for our younger students to be able to show and apply their learning in a very engaging way.
Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question. What are those visits by families?
So the visits by families would be when they logged in and they kind of looked at their students' work. So it's a really great way for families to be able to go in and see, what is my child doing? So those were when they logged in and were looking at what their students were doing.
And then my other question is, have we seen any patterns or correlation between the students in the K through 2 grades that have are progressing in their studies to see like either their, I don't know if there's NWEA testing that you can look at and make correlations to, or just even throughout the course of the year where kids started at one point in trimester 1, and then by the end of the year they progressed, similar to like, I know we do that with like the Fontenay Manel and the math stuff. Do we see that with this program as well?
So the way that it's being used right now is kind of fluctuates. There's not a consistent use enough to track that kind of data. And it's hopeful that once teachers start becoming comfortable and not so overwhelmed by everything else, that they'll start to use it more that way, and then we'll be able to see those kinds of patterns.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sarah, what was the investment on behalf of the 21st Century Committee for this software?
It was $6,000.
Thank you.
Anything else? No? Okay.
Well, we thank you all very much. Thank you, Joel.
Joel, thank you again for all of your work and the entire board's work. We see you here and hear you year after year, and you always add new dimensions to our board meetings and to our committee work and to our students, most of all, as well as to the depth of our staff knowledge and our expertise. So thank you for all the work you do on behalf of the Derry Cooperative School District in general.
Great, good, thank you.
All right.
Some board work is tough, this one's easy. Very
Thanks for
fun.
being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cliff. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Ms. Chair, may I say something as the
Sure.
tech director? For anyone who will be speaking this evening, if you can see how closely I'm holding the microphone to my mouth, this is what we need you to do. If you push it away, we have to turn the volume up, and that's what gives us the feedback. So please keep the microphone close to your mouth so that we don't have to have that big screeching squelch. Thanks.
So next up tonight, we're glad to have Jacob back with us to give us an update on what's happening at Pinkerton.
Yes, I'm super excited to be back. Sorry, I was very, very busy with a variety of different things in the past few meetings, but I'm really, really happy that I can provide you all with some updates finally. So first, obviously, the most clear one has been that we have begun semester 2 officially, and hopefully emerge victorious from our midterms. I know that those came out around a week ago, so all students can log onto their personal Aspen profiles and view all of their overall semester grades in addition to what they received on each of their midterm exams. Additionally, course selections did begin on that same student platform that we use, Aspen, on February 1st and are continuing through February 11th. And basically, students will be able to take their teacher recommendations and also select the own classes that they're interested in to determine their schedules for the 2022 to 2023 school year. Moving on with regards to the Jazz Allstate Festival, I know a few months ago I told you all about the audition process and some of the results for that. We had several Pinkerton students go to that, and basically, if you do not remember, it is a statewide music festival with both bands and choirs specifically focused on jazz music. That occurred at Pinkerton last Thursday and Saturday, with the concert that Saturday afternoon in the Stockbridge Theater. And this was the first statewide New Hampshire Music Educator Association event since 2020, pre-COVID. So that's super, super exciting to hear about. Next, with regards to our career technical education program, the video production students ended up seeing Studio Labs a few days ago. And on top of that, the building and construction technology students visited sites at Bond Brothers Construction. So it's interesting that our CTE program isn't only focused on educating students in the classroom, but is also really prioritizing and placing emphasis on those external visits to places outside of the classroom in real-world situations. Another exciting thing to share is that Mr. Okovikas, he's the Latin teacher. He got the 2021 award for excellence